Today is not an ordinary day. At the center of it all stands Commander Zevrix, a battle-hardened officer with 6 flexible arms, 4 of which are now twitching with nerves. He watches the busy area through a large window, his bright eyes taking in every detail. For many cycles, rumors have spread through the Galactic Military Academy about the arrival of human cadets. These humans come from a planet known for its harsh, deadly conditions, a world that has shaped warriors who have grown strong through endless struggle and heavy gravity. The Academy calls them Deathworlders. For months, whispers about these brave humans have floated through the corridors. Now, at last, Commander Zevrix is about to meet these legends face to face, and you can feel the tension in the air that a sudden commotion ripples throughout the Academy's central hall, punctuated by a loud, resonant announcement. Lieutenant Rax Doran's vibrant, luminescent scales flash along the walls as he shouts from his post near the docking bay. The human transport ship has entered the Academy's airspace. With unmistakable pride, his tone carries the thrill of the moment. Commander Zevrix, maintaining his usually measured tone despite his internal jitters, responds dryly about Earth's charming qualities, a phrase laced with both amusement and academic detachment. The commander explains that for 3 complete cycles, the Academy's engineers and logistics teams have been hard at work reconfiguring an entire wing of the training facility to accommodate these unexpected visitors. They have installed water-based cleaning facilities, reinforced furniture to bear the weight of beings whose density is higher than that of most other species, and recalibrated the atmospheric controls to deliver an oxygen-nitrogen mixture tailored exactly to the human preference. Temperature is set to what they call room temperature of 22 degrees Celsius, practically freezing by the standards of the native Khazarian regiment. As the transport ship glides gracefully into the docking bay, Commander Zevrix cannot help but notice every small detail. The vessel is sleek and surprisingly compact, a marvel of design that belies the grueling distances of interstellar travel. Even more impressive is the piloting. A human captain deftly navigating the unfamiliar gravitational pull of the station's environment with an ease that defies the warnings of long hours in simulated gravity. The ship proudly displays the emblem of the United Member States from Earth, a symbol of a culture defined as much by resilience as by innovation. Despite the advanced technology on display throughout the Academy, the humans require what many here still consider fundamental accommodations: regular rest in horizontal positions, carefully calibrated cleaning facilities, and physical structures reinforced to account for their weight. All of these adjustments have been painstakingly implemented over numerous cycles, a testament to the Confederation's commitment to interspecies exchange. One by one, the human cadets emerge from their transport vessel. Commander Zevrix has studied the physiology of Earth's inhabitants in considerable detail, poring over every available research paper and cultural study. Yet nothing could have fully prepared him for the sight of these beings striding confidently into the docking bay. Their gait is fluid, almost defiant against the station's lighter gravity, and although they vary widely in skin tone, height, and overall proportions, everyone falls within the parameters specified in their cultural dossier. With a measured motion, Zevrix extends one of his upper appendages, a signal of greeting in his culture, and engages in the customary handshake. Though the human cadet's grip is surprisingly strong, Commander Zevrix recalls the cultural briefings to maintain his hold until the cadet releases the gesture. This ritual, which might seem insignificant to outsiders, carries deep symbolic value among the humans, a mark of trust, respect, and the willingness to bridge vast differences. The human cadets chatter amicably as they lead Lieutenant Rax Doran away to their designated quarters. One of them, a young officer with a spark in his eyes, speaks with measured enthusiasm about the Earth Defense Force and the belief that this exchange program is essential to building strong interspecies relationships within the Confederation. Commander Zevrix listens intently to these remarks, storing every nuance. A smile plays across the human's face, a facial expression Zevrix has learned to interpret as a positive sign. Yet even as the humans disperse into their new environment, Commander Zevrix overhears whispered conversations among them. A pair of cadets lean in close, voices low, nearly conspiratorial. They murmur about having all flinched when the first transport stepped off the vessel, hinting at a mix of nervousness and curious amusement. While one speaks about the incident as a cultural hiccup, the other laughs softly, remarking that the reaction was merely a prelude to tomorrow's standard combat simulation. The words, laced with 10 credits worth of dark humor, suggest that these humans have already begun their own rituals of training and adaptation, a hint that they are more than capable of handling the unexpected. Inside a nearby control room, Commander Zevrix calls upon the Academy's holographic display to bring up historical performance metrics. The screen flickers to life, displaying average completion times, success rates, and injury statistics for various species across the Alpha 7 combat simulation, a cornerstone training module of the Academy. Zevrix notes with subtle satisfaction that the data for native Khazarian cadets, known for their superior strength, far surpass these humans. Yet, as he studies the numbers, an alert from Lieutenant Rax Doran interrupts his contemplation. The humans have already submitted a request for access to the Academy's recreational facilities, a request concerning the combat training area specifically. It turns out they are eager to stretch their legs and adjust the gravity in that space to match the conditions of Earth. This is because the station operates at 0.7 Earth gravity, a compromise that suits a wide range of species, but which these human cadets find insufficient for their training regimen. They're concerned about muscle atrophy and insist that the training area be adjusted to replicate Earth's gravitational pull. Commander Zevrix hesitates for a moment, his mind racing as he considers the implications. Humans literally want a heavier environment for their training. With measured authority, he approves the request for the designated regions of the training facility and instructs the medical officer, Specialist Trilpor, to conduct detailed physiological assessments during their first session in the training hall. The human cadets begin their exercise routine with a series of warm-ups, gentle stretching and light calisthenics that gradually build in intensity. The atmosphere is electric with determination as they push their limits from the very first moment. Then, almost without warning, the nature of the exercises escalates. Some cadets begin lifting weighted objects repeatedly in various configurations, testing the limits of their strength and endurance. Others engage in rapid, tactical locomotion, sprinting along the perimeter of the facility at speeds that defy the normally languid pace induced by reduced gravity. In a marked display of teamwork, two pairs of cadets step onto padded mats and initiate what appears to be ritualized combat. The explosive energy of their maneuvers is palpable. At one moment, a cadet, whose identity will later become legendary among the human exchange groups, suddenly increases speed, sprinting at full force down a narrow corridor, then launching himself into a leap that defies gravity before being caught by two comrades waiting with outstretched arms. This maneuver, repeated several times in rapid succession, leaves Commander Zevrix silently asking himself, what possible combat application does such a fluid, almost acrobatic movement have? His answer, offered quietly by one of his senior instructors, Specialist Trilpor, is that it is not merely about combat effectiveness, but also about trust building. In human culture, such physically demanding exercises serve as both practical training and a profound bonding ritual among comrades. As the day wears on, the human cadets continue to amaze the instructors with their ingenuity and determination. Their training session on the Alpha 7 combat simulation, designed to test tactical thinking and stress resilience without introducing genuine danger, proves to be a showcase of human adaptability. The simulation is programmed to generate a hostile environment with limited visibility, hazardous terrain, and an array of holographic enemies to neutralize. The objective is clear: navigate the simulated landscape, neutralize the threats, and reach the designated extraction point within a strict time limit. The entire system is rigged to record every performance metric automatically, providing valuable data for comparative analysis. The first team of human cadets, led by Cadet Orion, enters the simulation chamber with precision. The chamber instantly transforms into a murky battlefield, a chaotic blend of digital obstacles and simulated hostiles. As the simulation begins, the human cadets display a fluidity of movement that defies even the most optimistic predictions of the Academy's system designers. When confronted with a wide ravine that, by all metrics, should have forced them to stop and seek an alternative crossing, one cadet instead braces himself against a vertical wall. Interlocking his fingers in a makeshift formation, he creates an improvised foothold for his teammates. In a burst of calculated audacity, another cadet dashes forward, steps into this improvised boost, and is then physically propelled across the gap as if aided by an invisible hand. A rope is quickly secured on the far side, allowing the remaining cadets to follow in rapid succession. Commander Zevrix and his fellow instructors exchange glances, their expressions a mix of surprise and admiration. One instructor remarks that the solution is far from what the program parameters would suggest, noting that the cadets are not simply following predetermined tactical doctrines. Instead, their entire approach is the result of intense physical practice and memorization, a stark contrast to the advanced neural implants and combat downloads relied upon by other species in the Academy. Even as the first team completes the simulation with impressive results, another team, led by Cadet Jalen, steps into the fray. In this round, the simulation is adjusted to an even higher difficulty level, incorporating elements such as a toxic atmosphere that necessitates the use of oxygen masks. The course demands that the cadets traverse narrow, unstable paths, deliberately designed to be impassable according to the system's own algorithms. Yet, defying expectations, the human cadets recalibrate their strategies on the fly. They emerge behind key enemy positions and execute a perfectly coordinated ambush that surprises both the simulation and their instructors. Although the second team's completion time is 19.2 minutes slower than the first's, their performance is unique in that it continuously integrates improvisational tactics absent from the Academy's standard training doctrines. Later that evening, as the simulation winds down, Commander Zevrix retreats to his private office to compile his preliminary report for the Academy Board. His evaluation is cautious but increasingly optimistic. The integration of the human cadets into the Academy's training protocols has revealed that, despite their apparently primitive combat techniques, they possess an evolutionary development honed on a high-gravity death world. This background has endowed them with not only remarkable physical resilience, but also a problem-solving approach that defies conventional assumptions. Their training methods, driven by a relentless quest for self-improvement, have reawakened skills that many in the Confederation believed had been lost generations ago. In his report, Zevrix notes with growing admiration that the human cadets consistently ask, "What if this fails?" A question once deemed unnecessarily pessimistic, but now recognized as a cornerstone of resilience and innovation in the face of unpredictable challenges. The following morning brings a new twist to the human exchange program. The cadets, brimming with a mixture of confidence and genuine curiosity about their alien hosts, have organized what they call a welcome party in their quarters. They have extended invitations to the senior staff of the Academy for an informal cultural exchange session, aimed at building mutual understanding through shared experiences. Commander Zevrix, initially inclined to decline the invitation out of protocol, finds his curiosity ultimately winning out. With a resigned but interested nod, he informs the cadets that he will attend briefly. Perhaps, he muses, there is more to these human survivors than meets the eye, even after all the careful modifications and accommodations made for their arrival. That evening, in one of the Academy's communal areas, the atmosphere is both relaxed and buzzing with energy. The human cadets have converted part of their quarters into a makeshift celebration space, complete with ambient lighting and music that vibrates with an almost infectious rhythm. As Commander Zevrix enters, he is greeted by Cadet Jalen, who presents him with a small container filled with a clear liquid, a traditional earth beverage that the cadets have chosen to call lemonade. The cadet explains that the drink is made from citrus juice, water, and a carefully balanced sweetener. Though the taste might be unfamiliar to a member of a non-carbon-based species, Zevrix is advised that the beverage is perfectly safe for his kind by the Academy's translators and comparative physiology experts. Amid chuckles and light-hearted conversation, Cadet Jalen clarifies that the term icebreaker, in human vernacular, is simply a metaphor for starting a friendly conversation, a cultural nuance that Zevrix finds both amusing and perplexing. Across the room, Lieutenant Rax Doran is seen deep in conversation with Cadet Orion. Their animated discussion touches on a range of topics, from the merits of various combat training methods to the peculiarities of Earth's environmental challenges. The lieutenant's normally steady scales shift between shades of excited orange and a muted, almost embarrassed purple, a visual indicator of his mounting intrigue and perhaps a little discomfort at the novelty of human customs. Cadet Orion casually remarks that the human cadets are not only fascinated by the Academy's advanced technologies, but are also keenly interested in learning about the medical technology and combat medicine that their instructors so meticulously practice. It is clear that, despite the differences in background and training, a genuine exchange of ideas is unfolding. A meeting of minds that transcends the often rigid boundaries of interspecies military protocols. Later that evening, as the initial excitement of the cultural exchange begins to settle, another important issue comes to light. A group of human cadets approaches Commander Zevrix with a request regarding the Academy's survival training schedule. They note that the next scheduled survival training exercise is set for the following month. But given the challenges they have already faced during their long journey in the transport, they feel an urgent need to advance the schedule. Their proposal is straightforward. They wish to use the Academy's survival gear for an extended training exercise on Drew, a Class 4 hazardous planet characterized by extreme temperature swings, toxic flora, and predatory fauna. Designed to simulate real alien environments, Drew has been purposely scheduled for later in the semester so that cadets from other species can first familiarize themselves with the equipment. However, these human cadets argue that their unique background has taught them the value of early, rigorous exposure to the harsh conditions of truly unforgiving worlds. Commander Zevrix listens carefully, his many appendages folded in thoughtful consideration. He reluctantly agrees to authorize temporary access to the equipment bay, albeit with one condition. The Academy's medical officer, Specialist Trilpor, must accompany the human team on their initial session to document detailed physiological responses and to ensure that their integration into these extreme survival scenarios is done safely. Zevrix orders that every piece of survival gear be accounted for, and that detailed logs be kept on all environmental adjustments made during the exercise. The following morning, the Academy is abuzz with preparation as the human cadets finalize their plans for the survival exercise on Drew. In the shuttle bay, Commander Zevrix observes the cadets with a mix of admiration and trepidation. The transport craft stands ready, its engines humming quietly in anticipation of departure. Cadet Jalen, now tasked with supervising equipment checkouts, oversees the process with an air of calm determination. As he moves through the rows of survival gear, oxygen tanks, thermal suits, portable habitat generators, he compares each item with a holographic inventory displayed on a central terminal. The equipment appears robust and meticulously maintained, yet Zevrix cannot shake the feeling that the humans are about to undertake something far more audacious than ever before. They seem almost eager for the challenge. Before the shuttle departs, Cadet Orion explains to his instructors, in a quiet but fervent tone, the rationale behind their decision. He tells them that the harsh environments of Drew are more than a test of survival. They're a crucible that forces individuals to discover their true limits. The human cadets, having grown up on a world that constantly punishes weakness, see these extreme conditions not as obstacles, but as opportunities to innovate and adapt. Environments like these, Orion says, gesturing broadly toward the rugged landscape outside the observation window, are brutally honest. They don't care about your rank or your pedigree. They simply test what you're really made of. With that declaration, the shuttle lifts off from Nexus Station and ventures into the turbulent atmosphere of Drew. Inside the craft, the human cadets settle into their seats, each one aware of the narrow margins by which survival may be measured. The shuttle's descent is marked by turbulent winds, violent electrical storms, and rapid fluctuations in temperature, all conditions that test the limits of the spacecraft's shielding and the cadets' own resolve. Throughout the flight, the Academy's monitoring systems detect unusual patterns in environmental readings, and a tense silence fills the shuttle as every available sensor tracks the looming threat of a crash landing. Yet behind the fear, there is a fierce determination, a readiness to confront danger head-on and to learn from it, no matter how brutal the lesson. As the shuttle nears the designated crash site, Commander Zevrix and his team coordinate an extraction strategy from the Academy's command center. They watch intently as the human cadets divide into small groups, each assigned a specific objective upon landing. One team's mission is to secure shelter and construct an emergency habitat using the portable generators and modular equipment provided by the Academy. Another team is tasked with locating a subsurface ice deposit for water purification, a critical survival resource in an environment where liquid water is dangerously scarce. A third group is charged with establishing secure communication lines, both electronically and via improvised analog methods, to ensure that no member is left isolated in the harsh wilderness of Drew. Meanwhile, aboard the shuttle, Cadet Jalen initiates a final systems check. The craft's navigation systems, though challenged by the planet's erratic atmospheric conditions, are functioning just well enough to guide them to a predetermined safe landing zone. With a steady voice and unwavering focus, Jalen confirms that all parameters align within acceptable margins. Then, with a deep, resonant hum from the engine, the shuttle breaks through the chaotic layers of the atmosphere and descends onto the rugged terrain below. The landing itself is a moment of palpable tension. The shuttle touches down amid jagged rock formations and steep ravines. As the hatch opens, the human cadets, dressed in survival gear modified to suit Drew's hostile conditions, step out into a world where every breath is a challenge and every step could spell disaster. The temperature fluctuations are drastic. Within hours, it will shift from freezing cold to scorching heat. Despite these immense difficulties, the cadets move with an assured grace born of years of hardship and adaptation on their native world. The teams quickly begin their tasks. The shelter team gathers the available materials and commences the construction of a temporary habitat. Their method is simple but effective. They use modular panels, reinforced with lightweight alloys and sealed with high-performance adhesives, to quickly erect a structure that can offer both protection and a controlled microclimate. The water team, equipped with both scanning devices and more rudimentary instruments, detects a promising subsurface ice deposit not far from the landing zone. In a display of resourcefulness that surprises even their seasoned instructors, they demonstrate 3 different methods to access the ice, each method relying on a combination of technology and raw ingenuity. One method involves drilling a small hole and inserting a freeze-activated probe. Another consists of heating the surrounding rock to loosen the bond with the ice. And yet another method, seemingly the most dangerous, uses a controlled chemical reaction to dissolve a narrow channel through which the water can be collected and purified at the same time. The security team establishes a perimeter using a dual approach. They deploy electronic sensors to create an invisible alarm system, while also setting up primitive physical traps along likely entry points. Some cadets rig sensor lines using spare transmitter circuits, while others fashion rudimentary tripwires with salvaged wiring and cables. Their goal is redundancy, ensuring that if one system fails, another will pick up the slack. Throughout these efforts, the overriding theme is one of adaptation under pressure. Every decision is made on the fly. Every challenge met with a mix of scientific acumen and sheer willpower. Commander Zevrix, monitoring the operation from the Academy's command center, watches the unfolding developments with a mix of scientific curiosity and personal admiration. The humans are not simply following a pre-written protocol. They're improvising, innovating, and learning from the environment in real time. Their actions, though sometimes messy and seemingly inefficient by traditional standards, embody a resilience that is both raw and inspiring. As he reviews live data from the cadets' progress, Zevrix cannot help but compare their approach to that of his own people, species that have long since relied on advanced technology and automated systems to solve problems. In contrast, these human cadets are using fundamentals, logic, physical skill, and an unyielding determination to overcome nature's challenges. Their efficiency is not measured in nanoseconds or terabytes of processed data, but in sweat, trial, and the relentless drive to survive against all odds. In a particularly dramatic moment, one of the cadets, whose skill and daring have already become the talk of the group, leads a daring maneuver to traverse a particularly wide ravine that the simulation had marked as non-traversable. As the cadets approach the gap, he stops short and presses his hand against a solid rock face, interlacing his fingers to form a makeshift anchor. Without hesitating, another cadet sprints toward him, and with a perfectly timed leap, is launched across the gap, propelled by the momentum of his comrades' resistance. At the far end, a rope is quickly secured, and the rest of the team follows, each movement precise and honed by countless hours of training. Commander Zevrix watches this display of synergy with quiet awe. His internal monitors capture the data, the force exerted, the timing, the synchronization, and he cannot help but note that such an organic, intuitive approach to problem solving is something his own people have long abandoned in favor of rigid algorithms. Here, in the face of Drew's relentless hazards, the human spirit shines brightly. The cadence of the day continues as every team steadily completes their respective objectives. The security group confirms that their dual system is effective, while the water team successfully extracts a steady flow of purified water from the recovered ice deposit. Even the shelter team manages to erect a structure that provides immediate protection against the unpredictable weather. All the while, instructors from the academy, among them a veteran tactical officer named Instructor Grevin and a seasoned survival specialist known as Specialist Prilix, observe closely, offering minimal guidance while allowing the human ingenuity to take center stage. Their surprise is evident. The humans seem less encumbered by the limitations of their equipment and more driven by a need to explore every possible solution, no matter how unorthodox. After several hours of grueling effort under the harsh conditions, the teams reconvene at the temporary base camp. Though exhausted, the human cadets exhibit an infectious sense of camaraderie and humor. They trade stories of previous mishaps and small victories, laughing at the absurdity of some of their own methods, even as they discuss improvements for the next phase of training. One cadet casually quips that survival on Drew is like taking on a challenge so extreme that every misstep is a lesson in creativity. Another points out that only by truly testing their limits can they discover what they are capable of, remarking that the environment is brutally honest. It doesn't care about rank, species, or the comforts of technological shortcuts. For the human cadets, every hardship becomes a rite of passage, a necessary step in defining their identity and their capabilities as warriors and survivors. As the lunar day draws to a close, the Academy's data streams are flooded with detailed reports from the field. The instructors compile performance metrics that, despite a few deviations, indicate a surprising level of proficiency and adaptability. The human cadets have not only met the Academy's baseline criteria, but have exceeded them in several key areas. Their combat simulations, designed to mimic high-pressure environments, reveal a remarkable ability to strategize and improvise under duress, qualities that the native species of the Confederation have not prioritized for generations. One data point in particular catches Commander Zevrix's attention: the cadets' consistent inquiries about potential system failures and contingency plans. Every team has begun to ask, what if this fails? A question that once might have been seen as pessimistic, but now appears as a fundamental component of their operational mindset. It is a testament to their survival instinct, their relentless pursuit of solutions, even when traditional methods fall short. In the following debriefing session, held in a softly lit conference room aboard Nexus Station, Commander Zevrix presents his preliminary report to the Academy Board. His tone is measured yet unmistakably admiring as he recounts the human cadets' achievements. He notes that the integration of these Deathworld survivors into the Academy's curriculum has forced a re-evaluation of many long-held assumptions. Their evolutionary development on Earth, a world of unforgiving gravity, scarce resources, and constant strife, has imbued them with a unique blend of physical endurance and creative problem-solving that far exceeds the limitations of advanced technology. Zevrix asserts that these humans prepare for chaos in ways that are both archaic and profoundly effective. Their methods, though seemingly primitive, are founded on a deep understanding of reality that comes only from confronting the impossible on a daily basis. As the presentation concludes, an unexpected message arrives from the human exchange team. They have organized another training exercise, a daring, extended operation involving underwater activities in a specially designated aquatic environment aboard the station. The task is to navigate through underwater obstacles, assess new technology, and execute emergency extraction procedures in conditions that are as variable as they are unforgiving. Commander Zevrix, now more intrigued than ever by the unpredictable nature of the human approach, finds himself eagerly anticipating the outcomes of this next challenge. His own rigid expectations of order and control are challenged by the raw ingenuity that these cadets display, and he secretly wonders what impossible feat they will accomplish next. The break of the next cycle, the Academy's equipment bay buzzes with renewed activity. The human cadets have checked out all available survival gear, sometimes even items that were considered superfluous by Academy standards. This extensive checkout of gear hints at a plan that might be beyond the regular curriculum. Perhaps an independent research initiative or even a tactical rehearsal for future field operations. Commander Zevrix, unable to shake off the nagging feeling that something significant is unfolding, demands an explanation from Cadet Jalen. In the shuttle bay, amidst neatly arranged stacks of survival gear and holographic inventory lists, Jalen stands calmly. He explains, with a mix of confidence and casual nonchalance, that Section 47, Paragraph 9 of the Academy Charter expressly permits cadets to conduct supplementary training exercises for independent research and equipment validation. His explanation is crisp, efficient, and backed by the norms of the Academy, a norm that he and his peers have come to interpret as a call to innovate in environments that defy easy categorization. Even as Commander Zevrix listens, he observes that tactical instructor Grevin and survival specialist Prilix are already present in the shuttle bay, examining the assortment of human equipment with a professional curiosity that belies their earlier skepticism. Together, they debate the merits of the requested exercise, an extended operation on Drew, the hostile, hazardous planet whose brutal environment has long been the ultimate testing ground for interstellar survival. The argument turns technical as Zevrix explains that the surface of Drew reaches temperatures as low as -70 degrees during its long, frigid nights. He reminds them that the scheduled survival exercise was meant to coincide with the 30-hour daylight period when conditions are more manageable, with temperatures ranging between -20 and +10 degrees Celsius, a window that, while narrow, ensures a margin for safe operation. Cadet Jalen counters emphatically that the modified survival protocols, while challenging, fall well within the operational parameters provided the proper gear is used. With measured determination, he points out that the human cadets have thoroughly analyzed the thin atmosphere of Drew, which necessitates the use of breathing apparatus for most species. Yet, remarkably, the humans appear less hindered by the low air density, having developed their own modifications to enhance endurance and reduce fatigue. Over the course of the morning, the shuttle carrying the human teams reaches Drew's turbulent surface with breathtaking tension. The environment that unfolds is a land of jagged rock formations and precipitous ravines, where the thin atmosphere forces every movement to be calculated and deliberate. The cadets, divided into specialized teams, embark on their respective missions. Some set out to construct emergency shelters using lightweight, modular habitat generators. Others form water teams, tasked with locating and purifying scarce water sources hidden beneath the rocky terrain. And still others take on the role of establishing secure communication perimeters. A dual strategy that combines both high-tech electronic sensors and rudimentary, yet effective, improvised analog systems. Point 1. Team, in particular, captures the attention of the Academy's observers. As they approach a vast chasm that splits the landscape, the cadets demonstrate a solution that is as inventive as it is audacious. Instead of searching for a predefined crossing point, one cadet braces himself against a craggy wall, interlacing his fingers in a manner that creates an impromptu anchor. Almost immediately, another cadet seizes the moment, sprinting at full tilt toward the improvised boost. In a perfectly timed leap, he traverses the chasm, secured mid-air by the makeshift handhold provided by his teammate. Below him, a rope is quickly fastened to a sturdy outcrop, and one by one, the rest of the team follows in a display of coordinated brilliance. The entire maneuver is captured by the Academy's surveillance systems, and within moments, Commander Zevrix is poring over the live feed with amazement. He reflects on how such intuitive, muscle-powered problem-solving stands in stark contrast to the automated, high-tech methods employed by many other species in the Confederation. The human cadets have, in essence, rediscovered the lost art of resilience, a lesson that transcends technology and speaks to the fundamental nature of survival. Throughout the day, the various teams complete their assignments with a combination of efficiency and ingenuity that continues to surprise the instructors. The water team successfully identifies a substantial subsurface ice deposit using scanning equipment that, when combined with their improvised extraction techniques, yields a reliable water source. The shelter team constructs a provisional habitat that not only provides immediate protection against Drew's brutal conditions, but is also engineered to serve as a temporary command post. And the security team, by integrating both electronic and analog methods, establishes a redundant perimeter that ensures all channels of communication remain open, a feat that instills in the Academy's observers a deep sense of admiration for the human emphasis on redundancy in system failures. The human cadets reconvene at their makeshift base camp. A palpable sense of accomplishment hangs in the frigid air. Despite the physical hardships and the razor-thin margins for error, the cadets share an almost infectious humor about their ordeal. They trade wry anecdotes about near misses and celebrate small victories in hushed, conspiratorial tones. One cadet muses about the paradox of survival training, that in enduring such hostile environments, they are forced to confront their own limitations head-on, only to find that the only true limit is the one they set for themselves. Another quips that the harsh conditions of Drew are as honest as they come. There are no pretenses or shortcuts, only the raw challenge of the elements. This shared humor, this ability to laugh at adversity, becomes a unifying thread for the group, cementing their bonds and deepening their commitment to each other and to the cause of enduring whatever obstacles may come. Later that day, as the human cadets finally complete their survival exercise and begin the journey back to Nexus Station, the Academy's command center remains abuzz with data and analysis. Commander Zevrix and his team pore over the detailed performance metrics, noting with growing admiration that the human cadets have not only met but exceeded many of the Academy's rigorous standards. Their performance is particularly impressive when it comes to contingency planning. Every team is built in multiple fallback strategies in case of equipment failure or unexpected environmental hazards. In one striking instance, the water team, after successfully extracting a sample of purified water from the ice deposit, conducts a series of experiments on the fly. They demonstrate 3 distinct methods for water access and purification, each method relying on a different combination of available resources, ensuring that even if one technique fails, the others will continue to function. Such ingenuity does not go unnoticed by the instructors, who begin to incorporate these new ad hoc methods into the official curriculum. In a subsequent debriefing session held in the Academy's data analysis chamber, Commander Zevrix delivers his midterm evaluation of the Human Exchange Program to Confederation headquarters. His report is thorough, capturing not only the impressive physical performance of the cadets, but also the subtle cultural elements that set them apart. He explains that while the Academy had initially underestimated human capabilities, both in terms of raw physical strength and creative problem-solving, their evolutionary background on a high-gravity, high-risk world has produced a species that values adaptability above all. Humans, he notes, maintain skills that many other member species have long abandoned in favor of advanced technology. Their approach to contingency planning, for example, is rooted in the constant questioning of what if this fails, a mindset that has proven essential in unpredictable environments. Commander Zevrix concludes that, far from being a liability, the integration of human cadets is in fact transforming Academy culture, leading to the adoption of training methodologies that emphasize the value of operating with minimal technology and maximum ingenuity. A particularly memorable moment from the debriefing comes when a seasoned instructor remarks that advanced technology is indeed important, but true resilience is honed by learning how to function without it. The human cadets, he continues, have demonstrated that the ability to solve problems using only the most basic materials is sometimes the ultimate test of a warrior's spirit. This sentiment resonates deeply with Commander Zevrix, who then decides to submit his evaluation with a carefully chosen statement that the Human Exchange Program has redefined what is considered optimized for uncertainty. In the final lines of his report, he writes that humans prepare for system failures with a level of determination and foresight that may prove essential as the Confederation faces challenges that are as unpredictable as they are unprecedented. Thank you for listening, and remember, in the face of the impossible, it's our spirit that lights the way forward.